press Mr. Hogg's position. He's saying that it's always wrong. I'm just using words from the actual question as well as probably in the scenario. He's adopting an absolutist rather than a relativist or situational stance. Deontological is aligned to absolutism. They're very similar. So I can make that statement, and I understand that. The deontological view is that an act is right or wrong in itself and does not depend upon any other considerations. Again, I understand that. It's simple language. Ethics is not difficult as long as you keep it simple. If child labour is wrong in one situation, it follows that it's wrong in all situations. Well, yeah, I think I can get, yeah, that's all right. And then things start to go wrong. Because of the Kantian principle of generalizability in the categorical imperative. What? What on earth does that mean? You have my permission to cross that line out if you wish. If you understand it, fabulous. If not, don't focus on it. Focus on what you know, not what you don't know. What you understand, not what you don't. If you understand 90% of the answer, you will pass with flying colours. Because child labour is wrong in some situations, it must be assumed to be wrong in all situations. Again, I think I can go with that. Again, I'll let you read through the teleological perspective yourself. Remember, that's from December 2008. A brilliant answer. But focus on what you know. Focus on what you understand, not on what you don't. That means we can move on to perhaps my most favourite theory. This is Kohlberg's CMD theory. And what Kohlberg did was he wanted to understand how people made moral decisions. So it's the cognitive moral development theory. Or sometimes I've seen this written as the cognitive moral reasoning theory. So how people make moral decisions. And what he did was he took a series of dilemmas and gave them to children. And the children then gave a response, and from those responses he developed his theory. So what I'd like to do is just give you a few moments just to read through the Heinz dilemma and come up with an opinion. Kohlberg wrote this in 1963. Therefore, the numbers, you might want to add 100,000 to each of the numbers. So maybe 200 is $200,000. 2,000 becomes 2 million. What do you think? Should the husband have done that? It's not asking what you would have done. Should the husband have done that? Again, when I set this in class, I get a range of answers. It can get quite heated. Some people say, well, no, of course he shouldn't have stolen the drug. That's against the law. It's wrong. What would we have if everyone went around stealing? Others, well, of course he should have stolen the drug. That's what people would have expected him to do. It's his wife, for goodness sake. Some people would have said, well, yeah, of course he should. Human life is more important than property. Others, no, he'd probably get sent to prison. My favourite ever line was from a child. I read this well, probably on the internet somewhere originally. And one child said, remember, he set these dilemmas for children from about 9 to teens. And a child said, well, he might want to save his wife if he needs her to look after their children. But he doesn't have to save his wife if he wants to marry someone younger and better looking. Only a child could get away with a statement like that. One of my favourites. Let's move on. In terms of Kohlberg, the theory provides 3 levels. The pre-conventional level, the conventional level, and the post-conventional level. I've put a word or a couple of words for each level just to give us a signpost, especially for questions. With the pre-conventional level, I think of self, someone who's reasoning at this level 1, pre-conventional level, maybe thinking of themselves. Now, each of the levels has 2 stages. Stage 1 here and stage 2. Stage 1 is called obedience and punishment. Let's focus on stage 1. At this most basic of Kohlberg's levels, most basic of stages, it's like children doing what they're told. I've got a 3-year-old now who just loves her fingers perfect size for sticking it into 3-pin plug sockets. And she likes doing it. However, now she doesn't. She follows Daddy's rules. Why doesn't she do it? Because Daddy says no. Taking it a little bit further, why doesn't she stick her finger into 3-pin plugs, especially when I'm there? Because she knows she'll get punished. She'll get put on the naughty step. So people making a reasoning that I'm going to make this decision to avoid punishment or simply to obey blindly is stage 1. Taking that a little further, if I'm making a decision to gain personal reward, personal gain, that would be stage 2. I'm thinking to myself, but to get personal reward. Where I live, there's 20 houses around the square, and there's so many young children, they're everywhere. I teach a lot on Saturdays, and sometimes I'm quite glad to be teaching on a Saturday because it can get very chaotic until about 4 o'clock. At 4 o'clock, all the children stop playing, stop shouting, and they go up to their parents and they give them a hug and they say, I love you. Why? What happens at 4 o'clock in our square that suddenly makes children reason that they should be good? Well, it's the bells. The ice cream bells sound and all the children realise if we're good, we're going to get a reward. Therefore, they start behaving themselves. So that's stage 2. And you can see how that would apply in business as well, can't you? That a director perhaps making a decision that would be best for his own personal remuneration. So I can apply it to business as well as my basic examples. Level 2 is conventional. And the word I use to describe the conventional level is conformity. Conforming with rules or doing what others do. Again, 2 stages. First one is interpersonal accord and conformity, copying others. Again, in my square, there's actually a strange number of twins in that square. Very strange, must be something in the water. But as you see it with twins, and they copy each other. One person picks up a certain toy, the other has to have it. The same with different sets of twins. One set of twins is wearing a blue jumper, the other go inside to get their blue jumpers on. They copy each other. They make their reason. What is right must be what others are doing. But again, you can take that into a business context and think about don't rock the boat. Don't make allegations. Just do what everyone else is doing. Follow the crowd. A bit like sheep. So level 2 has stage 3, which is people making moral decisions based on copying others, following others' expectations. Stage 4 is probably where I think I am, and I'm not happy about it. I'd like to be higher. But someone at stage 4 must follow rules for the good of society. If we don't follow the rules, then what will we have? Anarchy? I mean, this reminds me of, this worries me when I think about the suffragette movement of 100 years ago, where women in the UK didn't have the right to vote and therefore they were breaking the law in order to try and further their cause. Does this mean that 100 years ago, if I was around, then I would have had the view that, no, of course women shouldn't vote because it's against the law? That's stage 4. You follow the rules in place in society. I'd like to be a little bit higher in my moral reasoning. And level 3, keeping that idea of the women's right to vote in mind, starts to think about